I tell you what, getting my camera set up is half the battle. I've no idea why I've started this live without actually putting these trousers on. What a strange start to a video. But getting these two cameras set up is honestly half the battle. As you may or may not know, I post the replay on YouTube every week. So if you're watching this on YouTube, come and join me live on a Monday. You can ask me some quick fire questions. And if you're watching this live with me, hello, thanks for joining. How are we doing today, guys? Look at me, look what I'm in. I'm in a pair of trouser toiles. Now, oh, please tell me I put my phone on silent. No, I haven't, that's so naughty of me. Let's turn that off, you can hear that buzzing. I'd love to say I'm a woman in demand, but it's probably some kind of eBay update or something. How are we doing, guys? If you are watching this on YouTube on the replay, obviously I am portrait for the Instagram live. YouTube is giving me a little bit of landscape, so I'm kind of cut off at the knees, but that's okay. If you come on over to the membership, you're going to have a very in-detailed elaboration on what we're about to cover today. But that being said, we're about to cover some crazy value. So I am wearing, and still bloody boiling in this studio, I am wearing my unedited, unaltered trouser block. So me and my members over in the DPL Atelier, which is my fashion membership, are currently working through a create, cut, construct cycle. This is a 3-month cycle where we select a particular garment style and we bring it to life. We design it in month 1, we pattern cut it in month 2, and we construct our final garments in month 3. Can you guess what the garment is this cycle? Trousers. What just fell off me? Oh, it's a hair clip. Anyway, I'm so much energy for a Monday, who am I? So today, my members are going to benefit from this, you guys are going to benefit from this. I'm going to give you some really easy tips and tricks to tweak your trouser patterns without the overwhelm. Now I know I say that trousers are notoriously fiddly, because they are, but they're very rewarding, and if you just start to understand the theory behind it, then I promise you, you're going to be unlocked. You're going to understand, you're going to get the confidence, and you'll be able to tweak your trousers going forward. So, as I say, I am wearing gym shorts under this, because I don't want to submit your innocent eyes to anything untoward. But if I was trying these on, I obviously would just wear my undergarments, unless you enjoy going commando, each to their own. Let me just have a top tip for this heat is putting cold water in a flask. This has been a lifesaver. So today I'm going to be telling you a few things to look out for, but more importantly how to kind of prepare for fitting a pair of trousers or a pair of pants wherever you are in the world. So I hope you can see this. I'm going to come closer to the camera. Can you see that I've drawn on my horizontal balance lines? So I would really advise, number 1, toiling up. I'm not even gonna waste my breath on this. You should be sampling, my friends. You really should be toiling up a prototype garment before you cut your final fabric, especially if you think you're going to be making fitting amendments with trousers, because we do not want to, number 1, be unsustainable. And I understand, this is a completely different topic, I understand that you might think toiling it up is more unsustainable because you're technically making 2 garments, but think about it. Just think about it, my friends. If you cut this in your final expensive, gorgeous, beautiful fabric and it didn't fit and you wasted all those resources and energy and it had to be donated or worse, put in the bin, then actually toiling up is worth it and it is the much more sustainable route. So, first things first, if you are wanting to fit trousers, toile them up. If you would like to make a trouser block, like the one I'm wearing, then we've just done it. We've just covered it in the DPL Atelier. So we have just drafted our women's wear woven trouser blocks. As I say, this is literally the block in its rawest form. I've not done any fitting amendments on this. I'm going to be doing a fitting clinic or 2. I just spat everywhere, disgusting. I'm going to be doing a fitting clinic or 2, that's 4, with my members over the next 2 months. So if you want to deep dive into this a little bit more, come and join us. Search the DPL Atelier. I'd love to welcome you, but I'm going to be giving you some fun tips today. So first things first, make sure that when you are toiling up, you remember to put a fastening in. Really useful, because sometimes you'll toile up and realise you can't get into the garment. Number 2, it is worthwhile trying on your trouser block with a waistband. Now this doesn't have a waistband on it, but it does come up to the waist. And the reason being, number 1, you can also fit the waistband, but number 2, it will help you avoid stretching this waistline out of shape. Now, of course, you could do some stay stitching if you wanted to just kind of secure that for the purpose of fitting. But really important and really useful, again, let me get to the camera. Oh, look at that. Athletic. I'm really not athletic, I'm very sweaty right now. Is drawing on these lines here. So you've got your knee line, you've got your crotch line here, hip line here, and that really helps you when making amendments. You can see where areas are tight, you'll be able to go back to your pattern and just kind of connect the dots and relay that really easily. So what we're looking for then, I don't know why I'm so out of breath, first few things to look for is instantly when you put it on, does it feel tight in any areas? I know that sounds really obvious, but is it tight on the thigh? Is it bunched around the crotch? Have you got the dreaded camel toe? Have you got a flatter pubis, or whatever we call it, which I'll get into in a minute. So just be really conscious, where is there excess fabric? Where does it feel tight and uncomfortable? And these are the first kind of areas to note down. Secondly, I don't know if you can see this on Instagram, if I jump, whee! If I jump, I have purposefully made this trouser block a lot longer in the leg because I was intending to wear it with heels. But if you wanted to shorten the length of those trousers, rather than the age-old bending down to the hem, which instantly, if we bend, notice how this is going to get taut, okay? A curved line is longer than a straight line, so if I'm bending, I can already feel my hemline rising up. So instead of altering the length that way, a great top tip is actually just to pinch up your trouser leg like so, so you can still stand nice and straight and maintain a decent posture, and you can pinch up your trouser leg and pin it round like so. Just make sure that this here is parallel. You don't want it to be a kind of wedge of fabric that you're taking out in terms of altering the length. So that's a really easy way, instead of bending down and fiddling down around there, for us to fit things to ourselves. So that is a top tip number 1. If you can, try it on with a waistband. You don't want to stretch the waistline. And finally then, before I jump into things to look out for, have a little think about the theory, okay? I'm going to show you my actual pattern here, and let's hope that this can get in to view. Yeah, you can see that. I have a massive urge to be like, here's Alex. So sorry. So you can see that there. Now look at the shape of that crotch, okay? Look at that shape. If you consider somebody comes along, speaking of slasher films, someone comes along, chops me in half, okay? The cross section of my body, so this line that comes round here and under my crotch, should mimic this line here. And so if you feel like you have a fuller tummy, or a fuller rear, a fuller bottom, look how up and down I am. I'm literally like a matchstick. It's so embarrassing. I don't have any lovely curves, but I do love my body. So this shapeless garment here, but you might find, this being the back pattern, you might find that this curves more to accommodate a bigger bum, or vice versa on the front to accommodate a rounder, fuller tummy. So just give thought to the theory of that. There is obviously such a spectrum of bodies out there that once you start to understand your own, and again we cover this in the DPL Atelier, I make everybody understand the measurements, we throw sizing charts out the window and we embrace our unique bodies. I myself, just to clarify, I've got scoliosis, you might be able to notice it if I relax. Your girl is off. I'm off on holiday. I wish I was, I'm really not. But It's understanding this about our bodies, and it's making clothes that fit and accommodate that. And this is what we do in the DPL Atelier. We get real with the measurements, with the numbers, with the figures, with your figure. We fall in love with it, and we make patterns that are unique to our figure. When you are shopping, and I'm going to throw my own business under the bus here, but when you are shopping with sewing pattern companies, we are trying to make a pattern as generic as possible for a spectrum of bodies out there. There is no cookie cutter figure, nor should there be. So empower yourself by, if you're looking at that and thinking, well, that wouldn't be my cross section, great, good, your cross section should be as unique as you. And so it's just connecting the theory behind that shape there, the shape of that crotch and that rise, and just tweaking it until you feel like it is an accurate representation of your body. Now, finally, before I mention some things to look out for, on top of all of this, putting it on, noticing initially where it might be tight, trying it on with the waistband so that we're not stretching the waistline and we can also fit the waistband. Another thing you want to do, and I won't do any kind of twerk into the camera, it is not that kind of live, is you want to just kind of bend down. Notice that there, you want to kind of bend down, you want to bend over, and that is going to help you determine if the rise, and by the rise I mean this crotch length here, that is going to help you determine if this is long enough or short enough. So they are some really beginner friendly introductory tips on what to look out for. I do have an introduction to fitting fashion file pack. We have an easy fitting fashion file pack, easy fitting amendments. These are really, really, really strong resources to get you started with tweaking your own clothing without the overwhelm. But things that you might find, always pay attention to the drag lines and the wrinkles. They often, I literally just did that. I'm so sorry. I just caught myself in the camera then. What an embarrassment. But if you have, I make myself laugh, drag lines or wrinkles, what we're looking for is a nice, when we are stood, your clothes are always going to wrinkle, okay? It sounds like I'm jumping around here, but bear with me on this train of thought. When we move, your clothes are going to wrinkle. So you're not looking for perfectly flat, crease-free clothing all of the time. But when you stand still and you stand with posture and you can smooth it down like that, you do want your clothes to be as wrinkle-free as possible. You want that to be a nice smooth surface. It is a good indication of a good fit. Now if I turn around, you may see we've got a few fitting issues back here because there's a lot more wrinkles. So have a little look at where the wrinkles are, take photos. Now if you are taking photos of yourself, try and take them at crotch level. You don't want the perspective to be up and down. You don't want it to be from a worm's eye view. You want it to be as straight on at crotch level as possible. Take your front, both sides, your back, and your left side as well. And that's going to really give you a nice disconnected, because when we look in the mirror, often we, as we know, can see things that maybe aren't there. If you take a photo, it is so much easier to analyse what you are seeing. So make sure that you do that. And then you can start to analyse, maybe even with a highlighter, circle around those wrinkles and see what they are pointing to or pointing away from. So, the obvious one, I can't believe I'm about to do this on the internet, but here we go. The obvious one, if I hoik this up, is going to be something like a camel toe. So if you have quite a full pubis and you're seeing that there's fabric wrinkling and pulling around there, that is an indication that you have quite a full pubis and that you need to accommodate the volume. Alternatively, you can have a look if your crotch length is too short, and if I pull this down and you have horizontal wrinkles pooling, that could be too long. It could also, if we have wrinkles around here, indicate that your thigh is a little too thin, and so you can fit that as well. And because you have these lines marked on, you're going to find that a much easier process. Also at the back, you can have a full rear, and you will find that you have almost diagonal lines. I obviously don't have this problem, matchstick body, but you will find that you have diagonal lines almost pointing to the fullest part of your buttocks. Alternatively, which I may be suffering from, you might have a flat rear. Now this is only in relation to how the pattern has been drafted. This isn't saying you've got a big bum, you've got a tiny bum, you've got a big stomach. This is only in relation to the drafting of the pattern. So this pattern has been drafted with a little bit excess in the backside for me, but I can tell because I've got a lot of fabric pooling by here and there's wrinkles coming by here that I've probably got to do a adjustment to accommodate my smaller, flatter rear. So there are just a few things to look out for, guys. This really is, as I'm sure you can tell, a topic that can be deep dived into. I mean, the world's your playground, isn't it? But luckily for me, luckily for you, and luckily for my members, we are doing exactly that over in the DPL Atelier. So if you would like to start the journey, if you want to continue the creative journey, if you want to draft your own trouser block pattern to your measurements, there is nothing more rewarding than a good fitting pair of trousers. Then come on over. We're going to be doing fitting clinics, as I say, every single month in the DPL Atelier. It is worth noting that I host something called Designer Diagnosis. Now this is a monthly Q&A where I film, I know, I'm amazing, tailored video responses to your questions. And so even though every single week on a Monday, and I haven't got my watch on, but it's about 4 o'clock today, I do quick fire Q&As with my members where they can ask me anything and I can verbally respond. If your answer needs a more in detail visual response, once a month, your girl films a video just for you, answering that question, and fitting issues with trousers is going to be perfect for that. So if you would like to come on over and join us, it does not matter that we are halfway through the trouser framework. There is no such thing as falling behind. You can join any time. I am here to cheer you along. Go and check it out, the DPL Atelier at digitalpatternlibrary.com. I'll catch you on the flip side, guys. I really need to douse myself in cold water. This is a very, very, very warm south-facing studio. But I hope that that has helped you. Any questions, DM me, anything like that. I'm always here to help. I really didn't want to overwhelm you. There is so much more we can go into. And if you do want to go into it with me, come and join us in the DPL Atelier. I will catch you on the flip side, my friends. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely start to your week. Bye.